Okay, welcome.
Let me check the mic first.
Okay, check your microphones. The button's kind of in the middle.
Test, test.
Hello? Thank you. All right, we'll start with our 2-minute opening statements, and Mr. Higgins will ask you to go first. I'm sorry? Mr. Higgins, if you'll start first, and you can either sit at the table or the podium, whichever you prefer.
Again, thank you to the council and also to all the citizens for coming out this evening. I am Brian Higgins, and I am running for the Post 3 seat of the Blue Ridge City Council. I am a lifelong native of North Georgia, and I am proud to call Blue Ridge my home. My wife of 19 years and I have one son, and we have raised him here to appreciate our local values, traditions, and our history. I've worked for Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge for over 19 years, and I divide out my time between that and volunteering for local organizations. I'm a proud member of the board of directors for the Humane Society of Blue Ridge, a member of the Blue Ridge Elementary School Governance Team, a member of the, chairperson for the Fannin County Chamber of Commerce Lunch and Leaves Group, and co-founder of the Blue Ridge Soapbox Derby. This event was specifically designed to benefit our youth. I'm a strong advocate for getting our youth prepared for the future while also giving them a healthy, profitable, and fruitful community that they can enjoy for generations to come. I've seen the impact that growth has had on our community, both good and bad, and it is my goal to find a balance between the two and still allow Blue Ridge to prosper and maintain its small town charm. If elected city council, we need to focus on sustained economic growth. We need to have our infrastructure evaluated and also repaired if needed. We need to address the parking, of course, and just the general interest of our citizens. I've been a long-time proponent of our local talent and lifestyle, and I hope to showcase that with the reopening of our farmers market. As a candidate that does not own a business, does not own property, does not have any affiliations, does not have a hidden agenda, I pledge to work for you, the community, and only you. I will work with the city council and not against them. I'll work towards a solution and not let my pride get in the way. I will always respect the thoughts of the community, even if their ideas are different of my own. I have absolutely nothing to gain from running other than to protect our small town and our way of life. Blue Ridge is my home, and it would be an honor to serve you as a Post 3 seat. Thank you for all the support thus far, and together we can make a positive change in our hometown. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kay?
So I'm very nervous. I am not a public speaker whatsoever. I do so much better one-on-one. But I am a 5th generation from Blue Ridge. Lots of y'all probably know, well, I don't know if y'all do, but my papa had started a business here, Thomas Insurance, and then my mom ended up taking it over. My brother works for the sheriff's station, and then Kristen, his wife, also, they have 4 children. She works for the rec, works with all the rec sports and stuff with the kids. I grew up here. I feel like my roots are deep here. I love my hometown. I know there's a lot of controversy on tourism. I would have never thought going to the high school here that we would have an auditorium at all, considering there were several trailers we went to school in. And it's allowed me to be able to come back home and open a business. I know he said he didn't have, no business or any hidden agendas and stuff. My agenda is to try to take care of my hometown, preserve what I can what's left of it. As far as growth, I think there needs to be quality growth. My family's here. I own a home here. I have a business here that I've had for 7 years, and then just opened up another one that's a year old. Like, I am invested into this town, into the community, and I want to try to make a difference for our locals and our residents here, because they are the ones that, we're doing all this for, basically. We need to stand up and try to let their voices be heard and have balance and people getting along. And I gotta stop. I'm Christy Kay, Post 30. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a couple of questions that we'd like you to answer for us. And we'll start with Ms. Kay, if you'll answer the question first. And it reads like this. What do you see as the city's infrastructure needs, and what is your plan to address them?
And what is my what?
What do you see as the city's infrastructure needs, and what are your plans to address them?
So infrastructure has been something that I think has been going on for a really long time. It's not a new subject. I know that there are a lot of issues going on, and I think that with better planning, if there is commercial growth, putting maybe higher impact fees on there to where the residents aren't having to pay to bring people in to our town, and instead, if there are people coming here building buildings or businesses, that it will pay to repair it. So it's not something that the residents and people already living here will have to do. I think as far as, I think maybe looking into grants, looking at other towns, small towns, and see how they fixed their issues. Because I know our structures are old and falling apart and terracotta pipes. So I think it's something that I think that can be looked into and tried to taking piece by piece to get fixed, but it's not something, I mean, it's a big taking on, I guess. But it does need to be addressed.
Thank you very much. Mr. Higgins?
Well, again, evaluation. First of all, we need to see what we're working with before we can make any changes. Also, zoning has been brought up a couple of times. The fact that the CBD, or the Central Business District, is getting wider and wider and wider, obviously has a huge impact on infrastructure that just wasn't designed to carry this 50 years ago or 60 years ago. So we got to see what we're working with first. Secondly is look at some of the causes. Usually, well, I shouldn't say usually, but a lot of times what has happened is we are getting runoff, stormwater, rainwater. When we have these high rains, they're coming in, they're overloading the system. So perhaps we can also look at ways of diverting that. The way downtown is sitting, obviously it's lower than the other areas, so all that water is coming down. Perhaps there's ways of looking to divert some of that and getting it out of our sewage system. That would help. But also, again, just knowing what we're working with, and instead of adding more and more on top of it before we know, we've got to step back and look at what we have to work with before more condos, more hotels, more business come in and keep putting a strain on it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Higgins, we'll let you answer this one first. And it's, are you in favor of and would you support the construction of an aquatic center? And if so, how much should the city contribute to the cost of such a center?
Wow, that's right up my alley. So I have been advocating for the farmers market for many, many, many years. The aquatic center has been put forth as being located at the farmers market, which I am against. However, I am not against a pool by any means, and honestly, I'm not against a aquatic center. I think having an indoor pool that we could use year-round would be fantastic. I do feel, though, that it would be better suited out in the county, specifically at the rec center. It just makes more sense to have all the recreational items in one central place. So, definitely not against it. And I would like to see our city pool open if it's cost effective. Obviously, if it's just a lost cause, then we'll have to look at other options. But having a city pool for our residents, for our kids, is a wonderful idea. Having an aquatic center for year-round swimming, but also for water aerobics, for fitness, it is a wonderful idea as well. So I'm all for it.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Kay? Sure. Are you in favor of and would you support the construction of an aquatic center? And how much should the city contribute to the cost of such a center?
I am definitely in favor of an aquatic center. One of my first jobs here in Blue Ridge was working at the city pool, and then from working there, then when I was in college, I worked at Aquatic Center in West Georgia and in Kennesaw. So I definitely see the value and the need of that for our community. It's open 365 days a year. It creates jobs. It also will help our community as far as like bringing swim lessons, therapy and rehab and wellness, veterans, senior citizens, exercise classes. So I definitely think that it needs to be done. And I know that there's like talk on where it should go and where it shouldn't go. I think, trying to find the best location for that, without, compromising other things. Because I know that the kids will also be, going there. So there'll be swim practices and for the swim teams and stuff. I think just because you have an aquatic center doesn't mean we can't fix also the city pool for our residents. I've already ordered like some playground books that tell us the price of everything and looking into getting the pool fixed. But I definitely think that the aquatic center would be a huge plus for us and for our community. It would help bring togetherness, I guess, like as far as, you could have, when you have swim practices and swim teams, it brings the camaraderie, I guess. And then as far as helping our elders and our locals also not feeling left out, this will be something for them specifically. And I think that's a big deal to try to be able to give back to our community.
Thank you.
So Ms. Kay, you'll have the first opportunity to respond to this question, which reads, what specific experience do you have which will benefit the residents of Blue Ridge? Yes.
I guess being a local here and a fifth generation native, also my family live here and, my brother, like I said, him and his wife have 4 children. And I also own a business downtown. Running the city is very much like running a business. It is a business in itself, and you have to make sure you take care of the people that are within. And if not, you're not going to have a successful city. You can't forget about all the people and where they came from or what they're going through. So I think being able to build a community and have that togetherness and that small town feel is something that I could help bring back to here. And I've been walking door to door trying to talk to all the citizens. I've talked to maybe about 100 people already and giving them a survey, trying to figure out like what they are actually wanting and what they're needing. And it's little things. It's small things that can be fixed. And I'm willing to put the work in. I'm not good at talking like this, but I am willing to put the work in and do what I can to try to help and help these people, the people of our community, be heard. And I feel like that I love my hometown. I'm rooted here and I want the best for it truly. Like, I'm not going anywhere. And I want to make sure that it is the best that it truly can be.
Thank you. Mr. Higgins.
Well, as I stated, I've worked for Ace Hardware for over 19 years now, so certainly having a good, strong work ethic is one of my best qualities. Definitely don't shy away from hard work, don't shy away from controversy. I look at challenges, I take them on. I tend to work better under pressure. So having a good work ethic, number one. Number two, also having a spirit in which you want to help someone. I do enjoy volunteering for local organizations. I've co-founded one as well. We give back to the community. That's what we're doing. I have no reason to run other than to help this community, to serve this community, and to give back anything that I can. I want to preserve what we have left, and having a strong work ethic, I think, works in my favor. As far as experience, I have no government experience. I've never run, I have never held office, let's say, in government before. But that also means that I have no affiliations. That means I have no friends, I have no ties, I have no backers. I'm here as Brian, and I'm here to represent the city. Thank you.
Thank you both very much.
Okay, now we'll do our closing statements. And so, since Mr. Higgins was last on the last question and first on the first opening statements, we'll let Ms. Kay do closing statements first. So if you had 2 minutes, you can stay at the table or go to the podium, whichever you prefer.
So I feel like every reason to run, and I am invested into this town. I've kind of sat back and watched. I'm not a politician. I don't like getting necessarily involved in this, but I see a direction that my town is going that honestly kind of breaks my heart. And it's not just here. I also see it, in the United States right now. I feel like the city council is at the center of our foundation for our town, and it's got cracks all in it. And I can see it just slowly spreading out from our city into our county, and it's people going back and forth, and I don't want that for here because our kids deserve better than that. I think I want more for them as far as where our city's going. I want them to have pride in our town. I want to be able to get our locals involved in our town. I am a local. I love it when locals come downtown, and I want to try to figure out a solution to where we can all live together and to where our citizens are heard and they don't feel like that they're getting pushed out, because they do. And I mean, I am a citizen and I am a local, and I can see and I can relate to that. And I want to be able to help fix the problems and help bridge that barrier that I'm seeing happen. And like I said, it starts from the center, and I would like to try to be able to help fix this and give back to my community.
Thank you. Mr. Higgins, your closing statement.
All right, well, thank you again for coming out and listening to the candidates and hopefully making some informed decisions. On November 2nd, you guys have the power to decide who will represent you for the next 2 to 4 years. This group decides what stays and what goes in Blue Ridge. They decide what buildings are approved, what businesses are allowed. They decide what streets are paved, what sidewalks are created. They decide on the music, the alcohol, the speed bumps, the parking, the closures, the burdens. They even decide the city limits themselves. They decide it all, but you get to decide who they are. So the mayor is not the most powerful position in Blue Ridge, nor is it the city council. The most powerful group are the ones sitting right in front of me, and it's the voters. You guys ultimately have control over these decisions, and you guys have the power to govern what happens in our town. And remember, it's not the other way around. It's time to set personal feelings aside. We have to look at the big picture before it's too late. I pledge to be an ally to the other council members and not an adversary. I have nothing to gain from running other than to protect our small town and our way of life. Blue Ridge is my home, and it would be my honor to serve you as a Post 3 seat. I may not have a big family name, but I have a big heart and a passion for this town. In November, I hope to earn your vote. In January, I aspire to work alongside you. And over the next 2 years, my goal is to gain your trust as a councilman and restore your faith in local government. Thank you again all for coming out, and together we can make a positive change for our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, candidates. We'll now take a 10-minute break.